I recently gained appreciation for Linkin Park because I kind of fell out of favor with them. I fell out of favor. I removed all Linkin Park from my playlist, which is a big event. I only had like 3. But there was some video of a guy who actually understands music and like music theory, and he was like, it was a pretty good video. I wish I knew who it was. But he was like hand drawing the notes and shit.
I know that guy, yeah.
He was talking about how in the end he's just like actually very well made. And I'm like, oh shit, I agree now. Here we are.
Here we are indeed. Another episode. Just the 4 of us.
Welcome, everybody, to In the Buff.
Can
Great.
I go home?
Okay, take 2. Take 2.
Nope, we're doing it live.
Damn
We're gonna
it.
leave it in. Actually, this
Oh.
isn't live.
We're live?
It's I mean, it's live now. Everything is live when you make it.
Right.
Do people do live podcasts?
Yes.
We probably could.
They sell out.
Yeah, no,
Small-
I
No,
couldn't.
I'm talking about like
Centers.
streaming. Obviously, live shows.
Yeah.
But like,
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't even call a live show a podcast. It's a show. It should be. It shouldn't just be 4 assholes talking into a mic. I would never pay for that. I wouldn't ask anyone to pay for that. But
They would.
it should be a show.
I think it's better that we don't actually do a live podcast, because then I could see a world. Sorry, Chris. I could see a world where we also want to communicate with the comments. All those comments we just get flooded with daily, live on the podcast. And Chris will do his welcome everybody in the buff. You got Scott, John, Chris, Cody, and
You pointed at the wrong people there.
every single time.
Well, we'd be sitting in different
Yeah,
places during the live show.
And then after
Can I
that,
be in the audience?
well, no, see, after that, he would just be sitting there looking at the comment section on his phone and be like, oh, 20 minutes in, I haven't said a single thing. This person asked question A. And that's his contribution. And
Oh, I see.
Then
It
when we're
gives
all
him an
done,
out.
then when we're
Yeah.
all done, exactly. We're all
Oh.
done. That's when he's like, what? I don't even remember what his outro was.
I really hope.
Bye, everybody.
Something like that.
I really hope that one day. I would love to do like a, what do they call it? Like a Q&A type of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Mainly because I love talking about myself.
Oh.
I've been hanging around that Cody guy.
Who?
What I think's really funny about doing a live show, I just imagine in my head, it'd be just us 4 on stage and Kyle would be the only one in the audience.
I have a question. That's my Kyle impression.
We don't even invite him.
It's like, and then like, he's over here. John, I have a question, John.
Somebody else.
Hey, yes.
Anybody else?
Don't even acknowledge it. Don't even acknowledge it. Chris, you were doing something the other day.
I thought you were about to ask. I was in it. I was in the whole experience there. I thought you were asking him a question in real life.
We are bullying
You
Kyle.
never want to talk to Chris.
You're right. We are bullying Kyle, and he's not even here to
He
defend
can't
himself.
defend himself. That's the best way to do it.
I agree.
Yeah.
You know, if we ever did do a live podcast for a group of people, the commercial that we make to advertise the fact that we are doing this and we're having tickets for sale would be the bit we just went over.
That'd be pretty funny.
Yes.
I'd laugh at that if I liked the podcast and they did that to one of their friends.
That's funny. I'll go see them live.
So I want to see that one guy in the audience. And then Kyle's not there.
We have
there's
Andy
like-
and Justin, but not Kyle.
There's like a special bit that we do on the time that Kyle's not there where we're like, hold on, there's a question. And then, like, it cuts to the audience. There's a fucking spotlight that hits an empty seat.
Reserved.
We actually invited the ghosts from Prospect Place.
Oh, no.
That's a callback.
Oh man.
So what do you guys what do you guys want to talk about?
What do you mean? It's your corner.
I am starting to think we need a bit of a shakeup here.
Are we
The
in a
last time that happened, we
Am I
talked about
getting-
9/11 for a long time.
Are we in a post corner world?
Yeah.
I don't want to be in this world.
I thought I was getting robbed.
Oh. Shake down is what you're thinking of.
What's a guy got to do to get a fucking upper around here?
Oh, no.
we were having a conversation hey, we could talk about that. We started a new D&D campaign.
Right.
John, take it away.
Oh, all right. Well, it's my campaign.
Dun, dun, dun.
And
That's
Chris,
why I asked you to talk about it.
and I have it set up into 3 different portions that I know a good idea of how it's going to happen. But then I played Baldur's Gate, and Baldur's Gate has all these open possibilities of like paths that you want to take, but there's a end game spot that you always get to. And with the first act of it, I've decided that Chris, who's playing a drow, is going to kind of take a main character role. Chris?
Yes.
Take it away, Chris.
So currently, my main character role is kind of taking a backseat. Due to the fact that my character currently is the odd man out, the odd drow out of the group.
That sounds like a perfect recipe to be the main character. I don't know if you play this little boutique game
Alright.
called Skyrim.
Oh,
You start as a prisoner.
Right.
Thoughts?
Right.
See? Someone finally got it.
However, you're following a person through that first act. Well, through that first dungeon. So you're playing
right.
the main character, but
It
you're
is a bad
a follower.
So anyways,
16 times.
we'll just cut 2 on the baton pass.
He was
No,
just making a fuss.
Just pass it back. Just pass it back. So the campaign started, and we are in this small town in the middle of winter, and denizens of the Underdark come and attack the village and capture all of the inhabitants. So our party is sent off to chase after them and hopefully rescue all of the captives. Chris is playing a drow who came up with all of the other drow, but got captured for some reason, and now she's
we actually
betraying.
don't really know what the
It's a little ambiguous about what Victoria is all about. Scott is playing a bird person who has Chaos Blade
Krotos.
chains. Krotos is his nickname. I'm playing an intermediate character, just a human cleric, until I get to my main character, who we're hopefully going to meet once we make it into the Underdark. But I don't know what's going to happen for the rest of the campaign. Obviously, we're going to be following these drow and these captives for a little while, but once we actually make it down into the Underdark, which is the promise that was given to us for this campaign, I'm not sure what's going to go on down there.
I'm not. This is a perfect place to talk about it, I guess. Just the campaign in general. Let's theory craft while John's here to like make.
Sure.
No, shut the hell up. I'm talking. Well, he can make faces while we say inane shit. So the first session was like there was like a festival or some shit happening, right? It was for the winter solstice, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And there was some sort of ritual that a man had to do. And while he was in the middle of doing the ritual or something, like zombies or something, and drow showed up. So, I mean, I guess the implication there is the drow caused all of these undead shenaniganry to occur. There was also a session 1 where all of this went down. The zombies like erupted from the ground or whatever, and we were playing the people who hopefully didn't get eaten right at the beginning of it.
Yep.
And in the middle of this ritual, this was the actual session 1. In the middle of this ritual, the priest that was conducting it, like something went wrong. He dropped this magical crystal thing, and like some weird, what in the hell was that even? Some weird elemental guy.
It was just described as, if I remember correctly, it was a light that had magical rune, like, emblems encircled around it.
I don't know what the hell is up with that. Hopefully we learn. He dropped a thing, we went to, and then there was like a tunnel in the basement of the chapel that we were, and all kind of hell is breaking loose in this chapel. We were like the belfry, is that what it's called?
I think so.
It's like caught on fire. We had to rush up, and there were like these little fire imps catching the whole thing ablaze, and we killed them, and we were level 2 and 1 basically. We had a hard time of it. There was a spider in the basement that really harried us, And we went down, and there was a tunnel in the basement that, did they, like, collapse it behind them?
Yes.
Or they just, so we see a guy, basically, as we're going out of the basement, looking at us and like, see you later, chumps. And like holding a glowing rock. And we're like, motherfucker, that's our rock. We need that rock.
Everybody gets upset. And Gregor, Andy's character, his also placeholder character, is just like, I'm going to shoot him. And shoots him. He's like, see you later, losers. Ow. And then leaves.
And the tunnel gets blocked or something. And we have to deal with the enemies down below. But there's... I don't know what was up with that. I don't even know. After that, I don't know if it's something that they did or because the priest wasn't able to complete the ritual, but the sun was in like a permanent eclipse state but we still had a moon, correct?
Yes.
And we have one moon.
There are 2 moons, however, one of them is on a much slower rotation.
But they're both accounted for. Neither of the moons were what was blocking the sun.
Correct.
And for like how many days was that?
For Trace, 3 days.
3 days, the sun just didn't shine. The only light we had was torches.
Great for my character.
So we were like, I'm thinking, is this because... Yeah, because you were drow.
Mm-hmm.
Is this because they didn't finish the ritual? Is this something the drow did? Because if it is something the drow did, it stopped. It stopped working, or maybe it did work. I don't know. I really have no idea what could be going on with that. Regardless, we were sent away to, in all the fracas with the zombies weren't outright killing people, right?
Correct.
They were either knocking them out or capturing them and taking them God knows where. And that's where we were sent off to find on their trail. And as soon as we left, like, we immediately just fell into a spike pit trap of zombies. And we're like, all right, guys, I think we gotta turn around. Just give it a $5. Give it a $5. We'll turn around, go back into town. We can leave tomorrow. And that was rough. We are all very weak. We're level 1 and 2. The actual party members are level 2 right now. Well, at this time they were level 2. And the, temporary characters were level 1. Other people can talk, guys. I've been talking a lot.
Well, that's the gist of it.
Yeah.
So, I think if you match up what I said and what you said, we've got a pretty good summary of what's happened so far in the campaign.
Well,
I'm excited.
We met that Centaur man.
Centaur
man,
man,
help lead us through the woods.
Was it the same one who had you in that one shot?
Yep. I think you mentioning the one shot, there have been 2 one-shots that foreshadowed things happening in this campaign. I think all of my foreshadowing has now been completed. There was obviously everything that happened when you guys were playing the level 1 characters. And then there was the Lighthouse campaign, or Lighthouse one-shot.
That's been paid off already?
That, not the entire Lighthouse.
Okay.
But on your guys' travel to that cave, you had this moment where the monk had listened in on a conversation that didn't really make a lot of sense.
That's right.
And they were also...
Do we remember what they were saying?
I took notes.
You could just tell us then.
They had a conversation with somebody who didn't sound too smart.
Right.
About if anybody's crossing over the bridge the other way, for them to eat them, for them to attack them and assault them. Nobody else is allowed to cross the other way across the bridge.
Okay. So when would that have occurred?
Well,
because we just yesterday we met this person who was supposed to be going to the bridge.
If the remaining characters had made it out of the cave somehow, under your guys' control, you would have seen that you guys were under a shadowed night.
Okay.
You guys would have been walking out of the cave in the moments of the eclipse happening.
Interesting.
Also, there's a wrong dog. We met a wrong dog, and the wrong dog made a deal with our Catman. There's also a Catman. Catman, Birdman, Wrong Dog. And Wrong Dog was there. he was a goblin at one point. I don't know what the deal is with Wrong Dog.
The characters that have been introduced in this, honestly, like, these characters have been, I'm just going to throw encounters in here and give them personalities, and whatever sticks.
Yeah.
And it has been my favorites, just like running it by the reins, just letting it go wherever it goes, like what letting it go wherever it goes kind of play style for D&D. I don't know if these characters are going to live. I don't know if they're going to die. I don't know if you guys are going to like them or fucking hate them. And whatever happens with these characters and the interactions that happen is like my favorite thing right now. Like, one of your most recent encounters was the troll that was on the bridge. And, you know, it's easy to outsmart him, sure. But, you know, like, how he interacts with you guys, what you guys do with him, you know, might affect how he acts later on if you guys run into him again. Or, this goblin, Fairgrax. It was his name.
Right.
I took notes.
You did take notes.
Yeah.
So did Chris.
Yeah.
The goblin's name was Fairgrex.
The troll was Big Toe.
No.
Little
You're
toe.
wrong.
It was Little Toe.
It was little.
Little Toe and Elbow.
I
Yeah.
knew Elbow. I knew it was Toe.
Did you?
Yeah, it's in my notes. I don't have them in front of me right now.
But, like-
we're doing a podcast.
But like Fairgrax, I'm like,
I always have a notes for my podcast.
I wrote down the bullet points of he looks like a goblin. He's going to try to get somebody alone and turn into a knot dog and eat them. And then I just ran with the rest of it. And it was fun and loose.
I don't know what the deal is with him. I don't know why he was there. He said that like he wants to or he wants to eat the drow.
Yep.
And that's why he was supposedly that's why he was targeting you, Chris, to begin with. But then, like, he's like, I'm gonna get you, and then we were like, get the fuck out of here, you wrong dog. And I was like trying to sleep at the time, my character. So my character literally has no clue who this dog is. We tried to kill him, and he just vanished into thin air. And then we were resting for the night in like a hut that he was staying in. This not goblin wrong dog, and he was like stalking around the perimeter and like speaking into the minds of whoever was on watch, and he ended up speaking to our rogue, played by Justin,
Catman.
who is a Catman. He's like a Catman swashbuckler type.
Doubtful Shadow.
Yeah, and he speaks like what are they called?
Native Americans?
Khajiit.
Khajiit.
Oh,
He
Khajiit,
speaks
yeah,
like
yeah.
a Khajiit, and that's fun.
Yeah.
Regardless,
Shadow will make a deal.
You totally.
A
I don't remember what I was going to say. Oh, he made a deal, and it was like, "Hey, I'm going to." What did we get in return?
The help.
Yeah, basically.
Then what does he get?
He made a deal with them that like, hey, if you guys are going here, then I'll help you as long as I get to eat people.
Eat drow.
Yeah.
He agreed to the drow, but
He wants to eat people.
he said he wanted to eat people. And Justin as Shadow said like, well, not everybody, because there's humans there. Like, we know the drow are the bad guy. Because at the time, he thought that only drow were in this castle.
Right.
But I mean, Fairgrax didn't fully agree to just the drow. He just said, "Hey, if you call for me, that means the deal's on."
I don't know what he is. Is he a devil?
Yeah, I think so.
Some sort of fiend.
He is something that is not of this plane.
Gross.
An
Like a
Outlander.
737?
I love that, like, after the session had ended, where you guys were like, we thought this was the Lou. We thought we found Lou session 3.
I thought
Session 2. And I'm like, oh. Well.
my character, I can only speak in echo, so I have to mimic things that I've heard. And the first thing he said to us is like, "What the f*** are you guys doing here?" And I'm just like, writing it down.
that was another thing with him, as trying to mimic a goblin. I'm also thinking about the characters that I'm introducing as like what kind of ammo you get.
Yeah.
And it was ever since the priest was like, what's your name?
What's your name?
You're like, thanks for the ammo,
Thanks for
dog.
the ammo.
And ever since then, I'm like, I'm gonna pay attention to the characters that I introduce from here on out.
And you said it in such a normal, like,
Yep.
what's your name? And I was just like, what's your name?
Yeah. I love the array of characters that we have.
Yeah.
Where in Cody's campaign it was gnome, half elf, human, and now we have Catman, Birdman, Drow, which is like the closest we got. There will be a Dwargar
Duergar.
Dwagar.
and a Tiefling.
Who's, oh, duh. Oh my god, who's the tiefling? Why did I ask that? That will be Andy. He's a recurring character, actually. It's like his sequel.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for this, my character in particular, because with Tybalt, I hope this doesn't happen again. Where with Tybalt, 80% of the story was all up here. And it did, it was, again, it is not your fault, Cody. It just didn't come out. We were in the middle of a crisis. It like, oh, I gotta take out these snakes. And it just felt right. I was playing the character. It felt right to be that guy. And for what all it's worth, I loved it. I like Tybalt. I still love Tybalt. With this character, I have like it's all set up for it to literally only stay in my head. So I really, really hope that I get a chance to put it all on the table because, like I said, he can't say original thoughts, and I can't even write presumably original thoughts. I'm not even going to try honestly because I don't want to break it that easy.
Yeah.
I will just assume he's been cursed. Quite severely, like a double curse or something, because he also has cursed weapons that may or may not be attached to the initial Birdman curse. Regardless,
I think there's a lot of cool, flavorful things that we can do with each character. Almost every character has a special gimmick with them that I'm just creating like unique rules for them. I think, if I'm completely honest right now, it's only Cody. You just decided your character not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
And the way we've talked about it, there's a lot of room for a gimmick to be placed in, which I think there will be something small, maybe not anything like crazy impactful.
Go ahead.
Because of like you want to play a Dwargar that.
It's your campaign.
That was a barbarian at first, and then moves into the Circle of Spores druid.
yeah, I loved this explanation.
Yeah, the idea was that I wanted to play either a barbarian or a druid, and I was bouncing some ideas off of Kyle, and he's like, "Why not just be both?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, multi-classing, you can do that."
It's a great thing.
The idea was that I'm going to be a Underdark dwarf.
What'd you just call me?
And he's going to start out as a barbarian, but because there's all sorts of gross fungi and mushrooms and other stuff like that, he's going to be exposed to this deadly spore virus from this mushroom that he encounters. And because he is a dwarf, he is able to resist disease and poison a lot better than other races. So he wasn't completely just transformed into a mushroom man or just outright killed. He's kind of forming this symbiotic relationship with these spores that he's been exposed to.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine his character progression would be if he takes more levels in Druid, he becomes more in tune with these spores. But as he incorporates these more spores, they give him more power, but he also becomes more mushroom. He like starts succumbing to their influence and the disease more.
Tale as old as time, dude. Secret Wars. He gave him the symbiote suit.
I think
Spider-Man turned black.
See,
that's why we have Miles Morales.
Yes.
What I'm playing around with in my head at this moment in time is that like you got infected and something was able like another Micah, what are they called? Myconid, thank you. Another Myconid was able to give you like an antidote that
slow the progression.
Exactly. Slow the progression and give you like the help in learning to control it, which is your first levels in Druid. That's just me playing around with it in my head. But the idea is that like that is your progression into Druid, and I was gonna consider giving you like smaller things that are not fully related to the class.
Sure.
That you would then have to make DC saving throws. So it's like every time you try to tap into this more potent fungus, it would have an opportunity to start leeching and growing more. So still following the theme that you had, but giving you that little bit of a gimmick. Chris, your drow, I think all drow in my world were going to have wild magic because of what I've done with my Underdark.
Okay.
But you just chose wild magic?
All sorcerer drow would have.
Just magical using drow. Because of like how I've written my Underdark to be. That was going to be the gimmick that I was going to give you. But then you're like, I'm going to be a wild magic sorcerer. And it was just going to be a smaller table of the wild magic. Mm-hmm. Things that weren't crazy impactful, but still, I think, fun to use.
Your hair turns green.
And then you just said, I want a full send. And I'm like, well, I don't really have a gimmick for you anymore now.
That's awesome.
So, own it, I think it's great for you.
I like the idea that Cody's wild shapes would have like fungus growing on the animals.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, yeah.
Great input. Great input.
Thank you.
You know what's really interesting to me? And it happened in goddamn Cody's campaign too. For me at least. I promise I'm not biting you guys. In fact, I've had this idea for his name Shano. I've had the idea we talked about this like when?
Year ago?
I think longer than that.
Maybe.
The point is, like, somehow it happened in Cody's campaign with Tybalt, and especially, honestly, there's just the thematic connections with pretty much everyone in regard to the story that lived in my head, where Balkner was like the inverse of what Tybalt was. Tybalt was the favorite son, Balkner was the black sheep. You were like born to be great. Reese was born to be great, but just in a shitty scenario where he couldn't be good. He couldn't be good enough. And I was just like the complete opposite of that. I was born to be great. Not the complete opposite, because I was born with at least that
high
seed.
Expectations.
Yeah.
High expectations, and that seed of like, all right, you got it, kid. Now we got to make you it. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I had you, unlike you, I had
the tools to your exposure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tybalt could become what he wanted, what his daddy wanted him to be, that kind of thing. Or at least try to become that. With this, it seems like on accident, there seems to be a theme of like, similar to the symbiote Spider-Man thing, where from the outside, there is some manner of influence that is like trying to worm its way in, and you either have to convince yourself to let it consume you, fight against it, or maybe master it.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, because my character, your character, and Cav, I think, all have this theme going.
Yes, and I'm really,
Andy's character,
really
Cav.
on board with that. It happened on accident. I just love that shit.
I think that's going to be a really interesting theme to explore, especially because so much of the Underdark is like this cosmic horror, Lovecraftian idea of these unknown entities just drilling into us.
Heyo. Now, why is your character so boring, Chris?
Why is Victoria so boring?
Oh no, she's not boring. She's a girl.
She's boring because she's of the Underdark. And so she's like almost like the inverse normal point around which all of the craziness can revolve.
I'm hedging a lot of my bets on you when we get to the Underdark. I want you to be that, like everyone else is like, oh my fucking god, it's so insane. You're just like, bro.
It's Tuesday.
It's yeah.
It's a normal
Yeah.
Wednesday, boys.
You better not disappoint me.
I'm gonna try.
I hope
To
you can.
disappoint me?
I hope you
I
can.
don't have to try for that.
Yeah, you're right.
I hope you can pick up the main character energy. Right now, I feel like Sven is the leader of the group.
He's not gonna be here for long.
He's not.
Sven?
Well, he's not gonna be here much longer.
Sven?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I hope that's not too
It's-
ominous.
It's funny. It's
I don't plan on Sven going into the Underdark, is the thing. I don't think he is a fun character. I enjoy playing him, but he is not meant for this campaign. He's a good guy. He's an order cleric. He wants to do the right thing. He wants to show mercy to his enemies, even though he'd never get it in return. And he is living with a bunch of reprobates. And he's like, he's having this like actual moral conflict where he's like, I don't think I can associate with these people. They're willing to do things that I think are not okay. So I think he just needs to take a step back.
Well, you have an out, like, right? Once we save the
Adrix
prisoners, the captives.
Somebody needs to take him back.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what I was
Yeah.
imagining his departure from the story to
Yeah.
be.
so when you say that, I guess we can just go ahead and talk about this, right?
Hell yeah.
Right.
What you guys' thought process is. Where we last left the campaign is they've been chasing down the prisoners, trying to get to them at a castle on the mountainside called Adrix Folly. And they're at the base of the mountain. They're at the base of the foothills for the castle, and they know there's like 50 to 80 prisoners there. They know there's tons of guards there. What's your guys' plan? Is you guys' plan to slaughter everybody and then just walk out with the prisoners?
I hesitate to say my plan because I strictly cannot verbalize it to anyone.
Victoria thinks it's a great idea to just kill everyone.
Okay.
The prisoners
You are
included?
you are 5 people.
The prisoners
Yes.
included?
I know we are 5 people.
He's not answering my question.
He's not answering. Drow, am I right?
Yeah, we shouldn't kill the prisoners. But, like, she has no alliances to the, oh shit, what's the bandits called?
Vic Mordier.
The Vic
The
Mordier.
Vic Mortier, thank you.
They aren't
This
bandits.
guy's done.
They're
She has no
mercenaries.
alliances to them.
They're like a Blackwater group.
And, like, if she can make House Gillian, like, take the fall for losing this exclusive slaving pact, then
I don't think we're allowed to say the word slave on YouTube.
this unpaid internship service.
Fuck yeah. That's number 2. That's number 2 of the whole year.
That's incredible.
Yeah. If she can make them lose that, their house in the standings of the city go down, which is better
So
for
you're,
her and her
are
family.
you legitimately thinking politically right now?
Yes.
She is, I should say. Okay, I hadn't even thought. I
Yeah.
hadn't even considered that option. But
I mean, obviously we wouldn't. We're not exposed to the Drow hierarchy
Yeah,
or
you don't know
politics
how
or anything like
you don't
that.
know how Holith is organized.
He just made that word up. But I'm not opposed. Holothids?
Holith?
You said Holothids?
No, Holith. The
Holoth?
city. Yeah. Holoth.
Yeah.
Holoth.
Holothians? Do you mean denizens of Holoth?
Yeah.
The Drow. Yes.
Oh,
There's
Why didn't
a
you
lot
say
of
that?
proper nouns. There's a lot of proper nouns that you have to deal with, Chris. John's had 4 years to just think about this stuff. I understand.
Well, like, I'm trying to figure out how I'd say it in my accent. It would be like, Holoth. Here we are at the city of Holoth, everybody.
I like how, like,
Holoth.
this primary house, I named him House Gillian. And you're like, House Gillian.
Yeah,
Like, it's just Gill, but it's
you-
clearly supposed to be Gull.
you've stuck with Gillian, and I just thought it was Gillian because you've said it several times.
So,
now.
like, I've made a point. I'm letting you roll with however you want to say things.
Here's
It's
what
gonna
it is.
confuse people,
You
though.
literally just typoed. You and I are right next to each other on the keyboard. You typoed Gillian to
in
Gillian.
RL.
That's incredible.
Do you lay eggs?
I don't.
Okay.
But he's a male.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Well, you guys haven't checked.
Right.
Right.
He uses he, him pronouns. I
Mm.
suppose he doesn't.
Actually,
He can't tell
I-
you if he does or doesn't.
Well, unless somebody said, "Hey,"
Bro is a word
you know,
salvager.
if somebody said the word "he," I guess I could be like, "He."
And then your sentence.
Yeah. He. I want to kill you. That doesn't make grammatic sense, Shano.
Uh,
What's interesting about Victoria is that she has this really intricate backstory with a drow lover in the Underdark that Chris was telling me about, and he actually wrote some poems and love letters between him, his
Real
character.
gay shit.
Yes, actually.
Yeah.
A lesbian ship.
I think gay works.
He read some to me, and gotta be honest, it got me a little wet.
Oh,
Like-
my.
Like I actually want you to send me some of those because I'm like I'm using those lines. They
Oh,
were
my
that good.
goodness. I thought he meant for something else.
You can borrow my fedora
are there
when you use them.
some that you haven't sent me?
No?
Okay.
John was just really underwhelmed. It's hard to impress him.
I'm still
Yeah, it
working.
He
takes a
doesn't
lot.
Still
appreciate
working on
art.
some. Exactly.
If you call that art.
I'm looking at the Michigan painting on your wall right now. You call that art?
You got that
Wow.
for him.
I know.
What do you mean?
He never once called it art.
Chris is part of the rules. That motherfucker's staying up there.
I think I'm the one who called it art, if anybody. Oh, man. I really hope that my character it happens. I really hope
Yeah.
any of it happens.
It's an interesting challenge for me because like the other players have no idea what's really going on with
Yeah.
you. Like he's being visited in his dreams whenever his blades have accumulated enough life.
The way I
source.
feel it is rather that I'm visiting in my dreams. I'm like going to some place, and like the last time I was there, I had to solve some fucking riddle. I didn't have to do it, but that's the only thing. I'm like, the character was thinking to himself, I'm here. There's a ghost girl talking to me. There's two ghost girls in this mansion or whatever. Yeah. And
Here's the funny thing is like when you guys do that, I'm like, okay, I can check out. This isn't for me.
Same.
And like part of it is my character isn't supposed to know anything that's going on in Shano's head,
Yeah.
so it's better if me, the player, doesn't know anything about it. Second is I really don't care. But
It has nothing to do with you.
now that you just say it like that, I'm like, oh, I know exactly what's happening.
there's two ghost girls in this mansion, and the first time I went to this mansion, like the one ghost girl, she was the older one, and she was like, "Oh hey, blah blah blah. Don't listen to my sister though. Don't listen to my sister. She's gonna fuck you up.
Don't play games with her.
Don't go play games.
She's gonna
with her.
want to play games.
She's gonna play games. Just say no, okay?" And I'm like, and she like showed me to some trap door. Like I was exploring the house alongside of her, and she showed me some trap door. It went to like this deeper part of the house that shouldn't even exist, where there's like this room with 3 closed doors and a tree, and the tree has like blood red leaves, right?
There are no leaves.
There are no leaves, but it's just going up, and when you look up, there's just pitch black darkness where the tree extends to.
Mhm. And the
And-
tree is coming out of a concrete floor.
And embedded in the tree is just a person, like a corpse.
Mhm. Like you see like where their shoulder blades reach, and like some of their chest is exposed out of the tree, and their head is just downward.
Like a 3-eyed raven
And
or herald.
and like I'm like, okay, literally this has just happened organically. He was describing this to me, and I'm like, I want to see what's past the darkness, and I'm going to like try and climb up the tree with I have 2 sickles on chains. I'm like, I'm going to try and climb up the tree with the sickles. And as soon as I embedded the sickle into the tree, it's like all of when I attack people and deal damage to, I guess, non-undead enemies, I have been encouraged to track the amount of damage I deal. It's like I'm siphoning the life force into the chains. And
Mhm.
when I embedded the sickle into the tree that first time, I could feel all of the life force siphoning out of the chains and into the tree, and I felt very empty.
That's when you got the red in the tree.
Yes.
It was almost like veins, where just like where like blood was coursing through it.
And then the second time, I did over the course of that first thing happened right before session 1.
Yep.
And over the course of these 4 sessions, I've done enough damage, I suppose, to start visiting the mansion again while I start sleeping. And instead of the first ghost girl, it was the second one who I was told not to play her games. But I'm like, what else do I do? And she's like, I have a riddle for you. Oh, isn't that great? I've got a riddle. I'm like, yeah, come on. And she gave me this riddle, and it was a great riddle. Great job. I don't remember exactly what it was, but the solution was something along the lines of, like, pointing me to the center of the house where something like a spider's web would be, and in the middle of the spider's web is what I'm looking for. Sure enough, I go to the kitchen, and there's a spider's web with a key in there. And I had to go through this crazy, like, dangerous silk danger room in the kitchen, and I got the key, and I get out of there. These tiny little spiders are trying to get at me. Before I did that, though, I don't know what in the fuck's going on with this. Before I did that, I kind of explored around, and in the back garden, I saw a huge serpent, and it was like...
It would have been of like the size category large.
And it was chasing down people,
Mm-hmm.
and they were running away, and the serpent was like hunting them down and eating them. And there was also like several corpses just sitting there, like close to me, but closer than the serpent was. As soon as I saw the serpent like looked at me and was like, "Oh shit," and zipped away. No clue what's going on with that.
I bet using the descriptions of stuff in the house, we can figure out more things that are going to happen with your blades. Because you did get like a buff.
Yeah. That's the gimmick with my character. On top of the other gimmicks, that's the gimmick with my character, where he's cursed to not be able to wield any other weapons. He can, but he has disadvantage on attacks when he uses other weapons that aren't his. These sickles, and they like level up, I suppose. As we go, like the very first session, their level up was gaining light or something.
Their initial level up was gaining light in the magical property.
Right.
Or finesse.
Finesse, that's the word.
Yes.
So they deal dex damage. And then this newest upgrade was they have reach now, and if I could do the throne thing, where I basically shorten the chain on one arm to extend it on the other and gain a throne.
Yep.
That's dope.
It's pretty cool.
Also, are you allowed to echo the ghosts?
I've
in your
tried.
dream?
And I think I did. Because I tried to echo the riddle, but I just couldn't remember it.
Yep. It's harder for him while awake, he's able to echo extremely easily. But in this dream state, it's more challenging for him to be able to recall it.
Okay. So being awake, you could tell us the riddle that you were told.
I tried. I was going to do that, but then I couldn't. I rolled too shitty on the remembering the riddle part. But I had a really good idea when I was writing the short stories for this character. I keep saying this. I'm glad that's the meta.
Yep.
The short stories, and full credit for me at least goes to Brandon Sanderson. Those interlude chapters inspire
really
me
fun.
so heavily. Like I just like, oh shit, I can do that. I can just like start in the middle of something and keep going. Hell yeah. And that is why I felt comfortable enough to write the Stringer stuff and the Shano stuff. But I had a cool idea with Shano's backstories, short stories I should say, where he is like not that this will come up all that often, he is like a tester to see if what we heard was real. If he actually heard it, he can mimic it. If it's in his head, then he couldn't. If it's a voice he's hearing in his head, he presumably, I mean, maybe we'll have to find that out. Maybe somebody will like use not detect thoughts. What's it called?
Telepathy?
Telepathy. To just like send me a message, and would I be able to repeat that, I wonder?
Oh, like message or something.
Yeah.
Or sending. Gotcha.
I wonder.
I think it is all very exciting. For you, Cody, I think it's hard to be able to share Shano's story, the Birdman story, with everybody. Because it should also more so be towards Scott. It is his character. But I want everybody to be able to experience so that when it comes to its conclusion, hopefully it comes to its conclusion.
God, I hope.
He's nearly died like 1,000 times already.
I rolled real shit on stats. That's not the only problem. I also just, suck. I guess I'm just bad at playing games, and I keep rolling shitty and almost dying. Regardless, hopefully I don't die.
But the story at this moment in time is able to be told through these dreams. Unfortunately, during this last dream state, he had an opportunity to interact with an item that wanted to interact with him.
Yeah, the shield.
And
I'm scared
he
of
chose
it.
not to.
I'm scared of it, Sean.
That was unfortunate.
Wait,
you know?
Is there something weird about the shield?
The shield keeps being like the very first time I noticed the shield, or Shano noticed the shield, it was like, there's a shield on the wall in one of the rooms, and it was like, what did you say? It's like calling to me.
It was calling to you.
Like, hey.
And once you got too close to it, you had to make a wisdom saving throw.
How about you touch me? How about you just touch me a little bit?
Just
On the
hold
edge
me.
there. Just tell me.
Coddle me a little bit.
Do you like it? Do
Put
you
both
like my
hands on it.
shine? How on that one?
And I'm scared of it. I'm scared of the attention it gives me.
Maybe it replaces one of your
Another
sickles.
thing, it was not there during his initial journey to this dream manor.
Ooh.
I'm scared of it.
Maybe it replaces one of your sickles with.
I
a little
want
shield.
2 sickles.
I'm just saying. Maybe that's what it does.
I think that's very two-dimensional.
and that's why
Chris.
it wants you to touch it. Just touch it.
But regardless, I'm glad you guys have already kind of caught on to the theme that I wanted you guys to have. With you guys are being cursed and blessed at the same time, depending on what you do with it.
Or perspective, even.
Yeah.
Because I gotta say, oh yeah, it sure is cool to have Croto sickles. I don't, it sucks to be cursed. It sucks that he's a bird.
You made him a bird.
But what I'm saying, I made him because I made him that way. What I'm saying is, it sucks for him.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, as the character.
He can't talk.
Like, he felt that frustration when there was just this ominous back and forth between this drow you guys had captured and Victoria, where they just were talking about very specific things without saying names.
I'm just like, bro.
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on! Caw! Motherfucker,
I'm like,
caw!
Please, it was basically Scott going, for the love of God, elaborate. Please tell us the story.
So, Cody, corners.
Yeah, I didn't really bring one for this episode,
What?
so I don't really know what we're gonna talk about.
How long we been going?
Like
About
45 minutes.
50 minutes.
Mm.
Here's the thing.
Ooh, yeah.
I was visiting my dad earlier today, and he just watches any movie that's on Netflix now. And he was watching this dumb movie. It was called Plane with Gerard Butler.
It's just called Plane?
Yeah.
This doesn't count. Okay?
I
It's not the same movie,
It is not the same movie.
but this doesn't count. On the ride home, from game, he was like, we talked about the movie Plane a lot, right?
Airplane.
Yeah, I get it.
Talking about
Fuck
the
off.
airplane.
Okay, point is, he just brought it up randomly out of nowhere, and we rarely talk about the movie.
Mhm.
Like, maybe once every couple of months.
I forgot that. Edit it from my mind.
It wasn't that bad. I mean, it was just your normal generic action movie.
Gerard
was an
Butler is
airplane.
Leonidas.
Yes. So it got me thinking about what other bad, dumb movies hold a place in your guys' minds or hearts.
Percy Jackson.
That Christmas movie we watched.
Santa Claus vs. the Martians?
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah, that was good.
I went back and tried to watch that on Christmas with my family because we were just watching Christmas movies that day on Christmas.
Yeah, didn't you post that
For
in
Christmas?
the Discord?
Oh, yes, I did. And, that movie sucks. I don't know how we sat through it.
That's one of my favorite jokes I've ever made. It was like, I tried to make you guys do a retroactive editing joke where he calls him like a nincompoop, and I'm like, ooh, hard R on that one.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, I love that. To answer your question though, somebody circle back to me. I got to think of the name of the movie.
So, like, the Percy Jackson movies. I hate those movies, but they hold a special place in my heart because I love to hate them.
The thing is, John, and correct me if I'm wrong, though I rarely am, because I haven't seen the movies. You might not like the movies, but they're at least competently made, correct?
I love Alexandra Daddario.
She was nude in True Detective.
Yeah, she was.
Oh my god.
Great scene. Great series. The first season.
I think they were like they were made well, sure.
They were made by professionals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is to say somebody was doing it as their profession.
I guess, yeah.
Yes.
But it's just like the pacing was weird with the movies. The lines, like half the lines were just like bad because they're trying to do this like old worldy out of time thing and like sounding like, I don't know, Roman or something. And I'm like, I get
close.
it, sure.
Yeah, probably
Greek.
Roman. One or the other.
It's something there. It ain't Egyptian.
It's not?
I don't think so.
I-
But it's like it didn't feel like it fit well, and I just hated the lines they had.
Yeah.
Honestly, I need to go back and watch the movie again because I got this hatred building up for it that I just need to let off. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
They made a new series, a TV
Yeah.
show on Disney.
Alexandra Daddario on it.
Maybe.
I didn't watch.
I think she's a
the,
vampire.
I didn't watch the movies or
Is
read any of the novels, so it's all Greek to me.
I don't like you. The movie I'm trying to think of, I cannot for the life of me remember the name. I wanted the actual name because if you look it up on IMDb, I only know this because Ralph the Movie Maker made a video about it. It's with Jamie Foxx and
Django.
no,
Ray.
that's a great movie.
Django's so good.
I
The
don't
Dark
remember the
Tower?
name of it, but the name is like the name and then a parenthetical. Literally, it says AKA Black Taken, as in taken but black.
What?
I can't remember what
And
it
it's
is.
a very not good movie. They got tea.
I think Chris just blue screened in real life.
But that's where that's the movie where I keep quoting got a lot of enemies because they do that in the trailer of that movie.
I see.
I got enemies, got a lot of enemies, got a lot of people trying to drain me of my energy.
I see.
And that's a really shitty movie. It is Black Taken. It's
Yeah.
like Taken but with Jamie Foxx and predominantly African-American
Sleepless?
characters. Yep. Sleepless.
I googled Black Taken.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. On IMDb, at least it used to, in the title it said Sleepless, aka Black Taken.
Well, that got canceled because
Yeah.
now it's just Sleepless 2017.
Regardless, that's a shitty movie, and it dominates a big portion of my brain.
Back in college, me and a friend took the IMDb's worst 100 movies and started going through all of them to watch
Why?
them
I remember this chapter of your life.
because we like to laugh and enjoy things.
Okay.
And laughing at things is the way we enjoy things. We watched so many bad movies. Monos, The Hands of Fate, that's a classic.
Right.
Not made by professionals. This is why I bring, like, at least Percy Jackson had, like, a studio and, like, professional movie makers making it. This was just a couple of people in their backyard with a camera.
Well, it also had like a Zac Efron stand-in kind of guy. Maybe it was Zac Efron. I don't know.
Not in Monos, The Hands of
No.
Fate.
I'm talking about Percy Jackson.
We're still talking about this?
I will never not talk about Percy Jackson.
There was... I can't remember what it is. I think it was called, like, Sorority House. It was a Paris Hilton vehicle where this group of new sorority pledges joined college, and Paris Hilton is the president of this sorority. And the whole movie is just their hazing process. And it was just terrible. Paris Hilton was just the most vapid character you can imagine. It had the most... not gratuitous nudity, but grotesque nudity.
I don't like that word.
It was actually both.
Okay.
It's like me without a shirt.
It was completely unnecessary and completely I don't want to say disgusting, but for lack of a better term, it was very uncomfortable nudity.
I'm curious as to why.
I don't know why it was in there, but then
No, why was it uncomfortable?
I can't remember. It was a very old lady.
Okay, gotcha.
Naked grandma.
Yeah,
Thanks,
basically.
Naked, huh? That's my impression, everybody.
And then at the end, they're like, "Hey, Paris Hilton, you're a bad person," and she's like, "I'm sorry." And they're like, "We forgive you, Paris Hilton," and she's like, "That's hot."
That's hot. Did she actually say that?
I think she might, but she basically she's basically forgiven for all of her sins and becomes the good guy at the end of the movie. She doesn't do anything good; she just gets forgiven.
She was the
and then
guest.
the movie ends.
The last time I saw her, she was the guest on an episode of The Grand Tour.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know what to think about Paris Hilton. I think she played this character for the past 20 years.
What was that show she was on?
The Simple Life.
Simple Life. Yeah.
I think she just played a character, and she's actually just a very intelligent, well-spoken person, but being the dumb, blonde, rich girl just sold better.
It made her successful.
Right.
I think. Maybe she was, I guess she's of the Hiltons, like the hotel.
Yeah.
So I guess she was already quite rich. Who's
I've
that guy that people... it reminds me sort of that guy, if it is this... Shit. Andy Kaufman, the guy who was like pretending to be a lounge singer.
No clue.
No clue what I'm talking about. People say, I think it's Andy Kaufman. People say he faked his death because that's the kind of bit he would have done. Is fake his death for literally 30 years and then appear on SNL again.
I have no clue.
No idea what you're
Son
talking
of
about.
a bitch. What is that lounge singer's name?
While you're thinking about this, I'm just gonna vamp back to Percy Jackson.
Great.
I just happened to look at the cover of the first movie. Stupid fucking title, by the way. Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the Lightning Thief. Why make the title so long? The director of the movie, it just says at the top of the poster, from the director of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone and Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. That's what that person
Chris
is.
Columbus?
Sure, but that's just like, why not just combine them? Why not?
Dude,
this is what Percy Jackson does to me. Everything I can find to nitpick, I'll fucking do it.
Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief has the exact same length title as Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the Lightning Thief.
Okay. Okay. I think I could agree with that. It's not
Tony Clifton. People thought genuinely thought Tony Clifton was a real individual. But then Andy Kaufman, this successful and famous comedian, was like, it's been me the whole time.
really.
Yes.
You want to see a magic trick? And he just... Did he have an eye patch or something? What was the rip-off
it's just,
motion?
He wears like a fake mustache and sunglasses.
Oh, okay.
And when Andy Kaufman died, he got cancer and unfortunately passed away. Presumably.
30 years ago.
People say Tony Clifton kept appearing in bars and like what do you call it? What's the word? Clubs
Lounges
around the world. And it's that, and just I think it's what's more likely is that Andy Kaufman told his brother or something, hey, could you just like tell people that I sent you a letter after I go? Because that seems very Andy Kaufman to me. Is he would just do these very elaborate mindfucky bits.
Didn't Jim Carrey be in a movie about Kaufman?
No clue.
Speaking
Who's
about
Jim
movies,
Carrey?
He's Dr. Eggman.
Ah, I love that movie with the blue man.
Yep.
is anybody excited about Supersonic? Supersonic Battle Cars?
I love that movie.
There's
Sonic
gonna be
3?
a movie. Now that I just made that thought of a joke after what you made, I can do words. Hold on. They're gonna make a fucking Rocket League movie. I
Did you
guarantee
see
it's
this
gonna
horse
happen.
shit with Fortnite and Rocket League?
Yeah.
It's like a Rocket League racing game in Fortnite.
Yep. Fortnite has like 4 little mini game things, and because what is this company called? Epic Games.
Epic game.
Mhm.
Because they own Rocket League. Yeah.
It's so weird to me that Fortnite's becoming a platform.
I agree. I did play the racing game for Rocket League, and it felt like Crash Team Racing, except without power-ups.
Well,
I preferred Crash Bash.
I also preferred Crash Bash. Crash Bash was a lot of fun.
They
I
high
prefer
five.
Jack X.
We need a remake of that. Yeah, well, you're allowed to hate yourself.
Let's get back on topic.
No, we're out of
Dad?
time, actually.
Oh, okay.
Fuck, dude,
Wait,
I was
I
gonna
wanna
complain more
know
about
what-
Percy Jackson.
I want to know what goddamn movie you hate.
Triple
Airplane.
X.
See everybody. That's good. That's good.
Fuck me, I guess. Are you still recording?